Hey! Look who it is.
Are we already recording?
Yes, welcome to the guest room turned into the podcast studio.
That's part of the only reason why I was willing to try out podcasting with you is I'm very inspired by your artwork.
Are you going to tell everybody that I've done the art in this terrible art?
Oh, I think they can tell. I don't think I need to tell anyone that we didn't buy this artwork. I mean, this was bought, but no, I'm being a jerk, but there is something endearing about the artwork. It's bad, but it's also good and cute.
It's bad and it's also atrocious. I feel like a little kid did this. However, it was me, and I'm not a little kid.
It's cute and the vibes are positive, but again, you obviously put a lot of work into the vibe of this room, this studio, so I was willing to sit down and be a podcast guest and see how this feels, see if this is something we will do together moving forward. I have to be honest, I had to put on jeans and my contacts in the afternoon, which I'm not a fan of, so that's already a negative for the podcast. I had to change out of my basketball shorts and take off my glasses, so that's strike one against the podcast.
Should I describe how much makeup I'm wearing? Should I tell you the concealer, the under eye, the Charlotte Tilbury blur powder, the smoky eyeliner? Okay.
That's an individual choice. I'm talking about my issue.
You are on a real comedy run right now, aren't you, Noah Garden Swartz?
Yes, I've been working the clubs in Vegas. I think this is now 6 or 7 nights in a row, which used to be our life in Cali and New York. We'd do comedy almost every night, but I've slowed down a bit since being in Vegas, and now I'm back to it every night, which has not been easy on you, I'm sure, having bedtime solo. But
it's interesting because I think I would usually say, how dare you leave me alone with two maniacs? These psychopaths are killing me and I can't handle it. And although I'm only on day 2 of your Brad Garrett's run, we've come off the weekend of Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. So your comedy shows are like my marathons with the kids. It's been lovely. It's just me.
But I'm going to stop you here. I do not want this to turn into a podcast about our kids.
We would never, ever talk about our children. That you can...
Well, we put so much of our lives and our energy into them that I'm like, if we're going to podcast, it's not going to be about the kids. We're not going to do a parenting podcast talking about the kids. So
that's right. No talking about children ever.
So let's shift.
Okay.
With your permission.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I think is funny is you came home and told me a very funny thing in the green room. You were with another comic and you were watching basketball. And then a female comedian walked in. It was just...
Well, we were watching basketball, and it definitely is basketball. But what was unique about it is we were watching the WNBA. And so first I walked into the green room, and there was just... The manager at the comedy club is like a young bro. So, like, just a dude's dude, and he was just watching the WNBA. And I walked in and instantly chuckled about to comment, and he thought I was chuckling like I was about to make fun of him, but I was laughing like, oh, good, the game is on, because I actually have money on this game, because I bet on the WNBA. And so he and I instantly bonded over the fact that we were both genuinely invested and interested in this women's basketball game. And then the host of the weekend, a female comic, came in and noticed that the two of us were watching women's basketball, and she was shocked and surprised and did not believe that we legitimately cared. And then we went on like a long rant talking about how over the last year and a half specifically we've gotten into the WNBA as a result of like higher interest in women's college basketball, and the women's tournament this past March was far more entertaining and compelling than the men's tournament. And the WNBA is absolutely having a moment. And I hope it's sustained because it's just more sports for me to watch, more sports for me to bet on. I'm sure that makes you happy.
Do you think they'll add an M to the NBA?
The Men's National Basketball Association? No. Right or wrong.
I can't wait for
right or wrong. It's just the default setting.
You either have men or whoa man.
Sure. There was, I forget who it was, that was basically, there was a sports commentator who got shit on for it, but he basically was saying, like, it's stupid that the WNBA teams have their own names. They should just be the women or the lady, whatever the male team is of that city.
No.
And people were like,
was this
no.
the guy with the commencement speech that said women need to be pregnant and barefoot and focus on taking care of kids?
That's Harrison Butker. He's a field goal kicker, which means no one really cares what he has to say anyway. Wow. But I love that you're kind of up to date on sports in that regard too.
I just know that there was like a beef head that was like yelling at women to like step it up in the house.
Again, not a beef head. That's what I'm saying. He's a field goal kicker. So yes,
he wishes he was a
football
beef
player, unquestionably in better shape than the average man, but not like a meathead jock. He's a kicker.
Can we go back to my art? I'm joking.
This is my art, okay?
What is so fun is you will look at me sometimes and say, like, look, when the WNBA and the women's basketball college playoffs were happening, I was like, wow, you're really watching women play sports? And you were like, yeah, I love it. And you looked at me and you were like, isn't this awesome? I'm a feminist. I'm watching.
No. I did not. I am a feminist, but I wasn't like, look at me. I'm a feminist watching basketball. I was just watching basketball. I wasn't like looking for a trophy about it. You made a big deal about it.
You were not with virtue signaling whatsoever. Yes. You were alone you weren't alone. You were with me in your house watching. And I was like, well, look at you. And you're like, hey, I watch women's sports. And all I could think is, I don't want you watching any more sports.
That's
women or no women. It's just more sports. And then on top of it, you're talking about how hot they are. And I'm like, what the fuck? The one thing I didn't need from basketball is you being attracted to them.
Again, I really don't think I was talking about how hot they are. I kept telling you I love Paige Becker. I don't think she's unattractive, but I love Paige Becker's game. I love her as a personality. I think she's dope. So she was like the college woman that I kept on talking about to you, but I wasn't like, Paige is so fucking hot. I love
Caitlin
Clark is, again, no disrespect, wonderful basketball player, not attractive. I am not watching Caitlin Clark. I kept on telling you what a story Caitlin Clark was. I kept on telling you what a big deal she was. I never once mentioned her looks, good or bad. But just to set the record straight, I'm not watching Caitlin Clark because I'm attracted to her.
Okay. And then Vegas has we need to go to the games.
We have the 2-time champions, and I would love to bring Moses to the games. The tickets are expensive now. But yeah.
Jeez, this WNBA ain't cheap. They put the lady tax.
Yeah.
Do you even know about lady tax, the pink tax?
Yes, they charge more for items that could be unisex, right? Like razors, like women's razors cost more than men's razors. Is that true?
I think it is.
You're talking to someone who just uses his barber line. Like I don't shave with a razor, so I don't know. But
I don't know.
So your Venus.
It's like $18, and your Gillade triple blade is $4.
Definitely not 4, but okay. And so what else is there a pink tax on? Because pink tax specifically means something that men could also use, but they just charge women more. Like tampons aren't considered a pink tax because only women are using it, right?
Right. I think it's like there are pencils that are pink. And they're literally, or like women, like they'll do anything to market to women. They'll be like, here's a binder for ladies, and it has like a bit of a glossy or a sparkle, and it's like,
sure, that's the Lisa Frank tax.
Yeah, it's now $90 for a binder that could have been $6 or something. I don't know, it's so stupid.
Yeah, but you get free drinks if you go into the bar holding that binder, so it evens out.
I know. I proved this. I try to prove all of that, like, oh, I buy a drink for a girl, and then I'm like, we have to buy spray tans and exfoliator, and then you're like, you don't have to, and I'm like, yes, it's 2024, and you need to exfoliate, and you need to pumice your feet, and you need to.
I think two things can be true at once. I think men would be intellectually dishonest if they're saying that like buying drinks for women evens out all the extra money women have to spend. It's no doubt more expensive to be a woman than a man with respect to the upkeep, but also it is true that all the stuff that you do, while I appreciate and you certainly look wonderful, and I love that you're beautiful, I've never asked you to do any of that. All the extra shit that you do for you. Or if you're doing it for me, it's not because I requested it. It's like all this money you're spending on self-care, all this time you're spending on upkeep.
I feel like it's an advantage.
I've never once been like, hey, why don't you tighten up a little bit?
I really appreciate that. I think it's...
Listen, I'm just here as a man watching women's basketball, not asking my wife to...
I can't believe the women basketball players have nails.
Yeah.
And there's no like regulations around. Anyways,
I actually don't know the rules.
I don't know either. We need to look it up. I know they don't have fake nail rules in the NBA.
There are NBA players that have nails because if you look at Jokic's arms, he's getting the shit scratched out of him. But anyway, whatever.
He's like an orca whale at SeaWorld. I do feel bad for men because I have a range of how beautiful I can look and how haggard and disgusting I can look. And I can transform using all of the things that CVS has to offer and Sephora. And then men, they're just kind of stuck with like hair gel. And they're, for the majority of men, aren't wearing makeup.
So you think there's not a wide range of how attractive I can be day to day?
Yeah, you can go from like,
Adam Sandler outfit to whatever this is, which is just a dressier version of Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's
just a plain t-shirt and jeans.
Yes, but I can go from like Britney Spears shoeless walking into a public restroom haggard with like the mascara and eyeliner like dripping down my face, and then I can do full beat and glamour with lots of powder.
So let me ask you this. When you go from barefoot Britney in a public restroom to full beat, who are you doing that for? And I'm not saying that contentiously. I'm like,
other women.
Right. Because while I could look at you and acknowledge like, oh, my wife looks prettier right now than she did then, it has no real effect on whether or not I'm attracted to you, whether or not the love is there, whether or not the sexual excitement is there. Like,
I refused. I guess
refuse what?
To believe that. And it's a sweet thing. It's a nice, kind thing. But like as a woman, you put on a little bra, you put on some mascara, and that launches you into like, I am now worthy. I am now beautiful. But and you'll never know what it's like to.
I guess the excitement that would elicit would be in a man who's never met you, though. I guess like. And I don't know if this is a sweet thing or a very rude thing to say, but like once we've been married for 5 years, dating for 8. So it's like, yeah, no matter whether you're dressed to the nines, ready to go to a wedding in a ball gown, or like haven't showered and woke up in sweatpants, it's all the same to me on like a love and attraction level. So
I feel like you're reading from some kind of like how to handle annoying women handbook. And you're not intentionally doing that. You're just saying you do say the right things, and it's so sweet.
I don't know if I'm saying the right thing because I'm also in a way saying the wrong because I'm telling you it doesn't matter. Like all this effort you're putting in.
I think it's an advantage that women are like, I'm a 4, and then they pop on lashes and all this, and they're like, I'm an 8.
Right, and I guess what I'm saying is going from a 4 to an 8 only matters to a man who never saw you at a 4 and will only see you at an 8 one time. It doesn't matter to someone who sees you in the range of 4 to 8 or 4 to 10.
Yeah, men are. They've clocked a woman's hotness in their brain like it's some kind of stat. Like, okay, he's 6'7", he's got this, and a shoulder injury. Like you've clocked the stat of a woman's like they're hot, they've got booty, not big tits, but you're not, like you're good, and you're like got it. So anything can happen per game, let's say, but you still like acknowledge. Jamal Murray is a good basketball player, even though he's a little inconsistent. And I relate to that.
That was such a muddled metaphor, but I think I get exactly what you're saying, and I agree.
That is thank you so much. What if we just agree with each other and compliment each other? I think it's so funny that you're a loyal man to your barber. And I could give 2 shits about who's doing. I want the best person to do my hair in the time frame I need.
But if you had a woman that consistently did your hair and then you had to go to a different hairstylist in that same salon, you wouldn't feel weird? Because the reason you're bringing this up, yes, I go to the same barber, and then my barber recently had a child, so he was out for a few weeks when I needed a haircut, and I texted him to ask permission if I could go to another barber at his place because I didn't want him to find out that I was seeing another barber.
That is so respectful.
But I'm saying like you wouldn't do that. Let's say you had a consistent hair lady.
Sure. We would establish rules.
Right. Okay. So.
And that did happen. I had my hair highlighted by Jessica, and then she was working at the salon and she wasn't in town. So I went with someone else and they didn't do as good of a job.
But did you ask Jessica first or let her know? She connected. Me. Right. Yeah. Okay. So. But yeah, I go to the same bar. I mean, once someone knows how to cut your hair and you like the cut they give you, why would you go philander?
I'm just so
Why go out for burgers when you got steak in the barber chair?
I love it. I love your loyalty to. There's so many levels to your loyalty with sports. Obviously, our relationship, there's a lot of loyalty, and then there's loyalty with your barber. We do have some gray area, which is you're allowed to get a blowjob outdoors if it's freezing cold.
Hasn't happened yet, but that doesn't mean never say never, ladies. Yes, you set up an arbitrary rule, sort of an obstacle course, a sexual obstacle course, if you will, that I forget what started. I think I was going on a road gig to like Minnesota in the winter, and we jokingly were talking about like a scenario of and you're like, if you can get someone to suck your dick outside in this weather, you've earned it.
Yeah.
And I like double checked with you. Not that I thought I was going to accomplish it. First of all, I didn't try, but second of all, I never did accomplish it. But I was just like, to be clear, you're serious. Like, I can get a blowjob outside in the cold weather, and you're like,
now I feel like I'm advertising it. I'm just like, who wants to give my husband a blowjob in the cold weather? And the cold is such a stupid, silly.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to enjoy that anyway. It's not like I'm going to have a comfortable blowjob when it's like 20 degrees outside.
Enjoyable. If I really wanted to piss you off, it would be the heat.
Yeah. You can get a swampy blowjob while everyone's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm allowed to have someone go down on me if it's 114 degrees.
Honestly, and again, I'm not advertising this, but I don't know how it would feel until it happened, but I feel like I would be okay with someone going down on you if that's all that happened. Like,
it's so strange.
If you came home from a road gig and you're just like, listen, I met this guy who was respectful. He's not a stalker. We didn't exchange numbers, but after the show, he really wanted to go down on me. We went back to the hotel room. Literally, didn't make out with him, didn't have sex. All that happened is he went down on me. We'd be like, good for you. All right.
Obviously, I would check in with you and see if, like, as if it's a barber situation. I like that the barber gets more like of a courtesy text.
But it's like if it was an experience that was strictly for your pleasure and a one-time thing where no feelings were involved, no information exchange, and this dude just wanted to go down on you and you felt safe and respected, I don't see how that affects me.
I think I would die before that scenario happened. I also
don't think you would allow that, but I'm just saying that almost feels like a happy ending at a massage equivalent, where it's like it means nothing except 5 minutes of pleasure that has nothing to do with an emotional exchange or like affects the relationship.
I've always sought out to have like the male experience because I think men have all these fun experiences with like going to a massage parlor, going to a strip club.
Well, you told me, a friend who will remain unnamed, you told me that they knew of a massage parlor where like the men were sticking fingers in women's buttholes and blasting off the clit, and that they were like orgasming to the high heavens.
And that was like a San Francisco gal going there, but in New York I was told by a friend that there was a guy who's massaging and diddling women, and like there was something. And
you went? Like you sought it out?
I did go specifically for this experience when I was in New York. I think we were dating and you were like, go, have fun.
Again, I could care less if I did.
You were more just like, how much is it? No. But I went and I remember there was posters everywhere and it said, keep your underpant on, no hanky panky. And I was like, oh my God, I just walked into like a naughty massage parlor the day after they got busted. Like
I hate to tell you, that sign is strictly like for their own liability prevention. That doesn't mean they got busted and now they drew the line. They have to have that sign up. But
I had to sign something to get to say I wasn't a cop when I got a colonic.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Are colonics illegal?
It's a shady operation when you're
talking about Wind Chime?
Wind Chime, which is not a real
Her name may as well have been Wind Chime. We refer to her as Wind Chime. Wait.
I was backed up.
You did not tell me this. You did not tell me you went to get a colonic from somewhere that required like basically an NDA.
A little bit. I think there's some kind of legal issues with, I don't know why, vacuuming poop out of your body That
to me sounds more like she doesn't have the necessary like registration
Sure.
and health work.
But on top of that, I think that hydroponics and a lot of like wellness stuff, they're not officially like FDA, this will happen. Like, so they can't make claims. Although all kinds of crazy people are making all kinds of crazy claims, like lash serums. I don't know. But they can't make the claim that like hydroponic is good for you because I think there's things that are bad. Like you can get bad things.
Let me just say, if I ever had to go do any procedure involving my asshole and before doing this had to sign something saying I'm not a cop, I would not be participating in that procedure.
It's like,
I don't know why you went through it.
Cat Williams would also be there being like, my virgin asshole.
One of the worst Cat Williams impressions I've ever heard.
My virgin, saying my virgin butthole.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Their first thing, she was just like, sign this. And it was just like, have you done this before? You understand that this is not like legal. And I was like, sure. And then it's like, you're not a cop. And I'm like, absolutely not. And then I was like, fuck the police. And then I was like, let's go.
You felt like a renegade. You felt like a badass.
She's like, I just want to make sure you're not a cop. I was like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm not a cop. She was like, I've never been
such a rule breaker getting a colonic in the. I mean, let's be honest. It was in this woman's apartment at 9:30 at night. That shouldn't be allowed.
You think that 9:30 p.m. would be a bad time to get the poop vacuum from your body? It's the right time. And it was, she's like, have you had this before? I was like, yeah, I bought a 2-for-1 for a place in like Beverly Hills and used it one time. It's just so smart to do a 2-for-1 hydrocolonic because you're only going to have one.
Yeah, we went once together. I tried it one time, hated it. We'll never do it again.
But my sister was in the hospital because she couldn't really.
I'm sure she would love you talking about this.
Look, it's so serious. Sometimes you just need to hydrocolonic with a lady named Windchime who makes you sign things.
All right, rule number 2. I'm cutting you off again. No kids.
No poop talk?
Not no poop talk, but I think we've run.
What is this, the WNBA? You're coming out with me with, am I also not allowed to have, no. How about no poop talk, no, I'll make it really professional, no scatological references.
Just within moderation.
Okay.
I think we've hit the time limit on poop talk.
Okay.
All right, so now I'll change the subject to something I wanted to bring up because it was a first for me today. You got me prescription sunglasses as a Father's Day, birthday. I don't know. One of the gifts that you got me over the years. And I have never been a sunglasses or hat guy my whole life. I never found sunglasses I felt looked good on my face. Never found a hat that I felt was the right size or looked good on me. So I've just like gone a lifetime with the sun just in my eyes and on my face.
Oddly enough, you've worked for Amy Sherman Palladino, the premier hat woman.
Sure.
So it's interesting. You're like, I don't like hats. And I'm like, I do. And I know a lot of women who do. But yeah,
yes,
I guess.
Hats technically
you're not hiding
paid for my health insurance because of Amy Sherman Palladino.
You're not hiding a bald spot.
So, well, also part of the reason, no science can back this up. This is absolutely not scientifically correct, but I am of the opinion part of the reason I have such a strong head of hair is because I was never a hat wearer. Because my 3 best friends growing up, I said 4, my 3 best friends growing up, all lifelong, everyday hat wearers, all bald as the day is long. Just not a piece of hair on their head. I never wore hats, and part of me feels like exposing my hair to the elements, letting the wind blow through and strengthen the follicles, made it stick around longer. But anyway, say all this to say, because the Vegas sunlight is so strong in driving in traffic and it beats off the car in front of your windshield, I've been getting like headaches from the sun. So you convinced me to start wearing my prescription sunglasses when I drive, and it's been a very pleasant experience. Today, I was wearing the sunglasses on the way to the gym, forgot to change them out for my regular glasses, and went into the gym wearing the prescription sunglasses, and God forbid I should walk to the car once I'm already at the gym. So instead of going back and getting my regular glasses, I just worked out in my sunglasses, and for the first time felt the experience of being the asshole wearing sunglasses indoors and sunglasses at a gym. So I was like doubly the asshole. I was an asshole wearing sunglasses indoors at the gym, but didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
Why? Did you feel kind of cool? Like, don't look at me, I'm too cool?
I felt good about, I felt a little incognito. Like there was something about like you can't tell what I'm looking at and you can't see my eyes while I'm at the gym, and also just like controlling the lights in the gym. Like sunglasses are a much better experience that I'm now 40 years into life understanding.
Yeah, you're like, but you also have a little bit of light sensitivity.
I have sensitivity to all sense related things: sound sensitivity, smell sensitivity, light sensitivity.
Also weather, like climate sensitivity. Your bracket for what's comfortable is ridiculous to me.
Well, no, that's just being a human.
You're like 65 to
impacted by weather.
68 degrees, and if it's different, you're upset.
You're insane. The issue is I grew up in Denver, Colorado. You grew up in Tampa, Florida. So, like, our natural settings are very different. But, like, the other day, it is 106 degrees in Vegas. We come inside, 75 degrees, which is hot for a house. And you're like, I've never been colder in my life. And I'm literally, like, taking off the shirt,
I was
wiping
freezing
sweat off my back because it's 75 in the house. And I am allowing us to maintain 75 degrees in the house because you claim it's so cold. I would love for it to be 70 degrees right now in the house.
I think 78 is a very good
78 is psycho behavior. 78 is unacceptable.
I know women that go into the hotel room and the first thing you do is turn it to 78 and you warm that baby up.
I go the other direction. 68
That's
in the hotel.
crazy cold.
But
you're the polar bear.
again, with respect to my brother-in-law David also runs Warm, and he has a great line which is irrefutable in the heat versus cold debate with the wife.
You can
put clothes on. I cannot take my skin off. So
Sure.
if I'm hot, there's only so much I can do to cool off. If you're cold, you can layer up.
I knew you were going to say that rule, and I'm
Tell
fine
me I'm
with,
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, obviously, I'm agreeing to that rule because I'm under your weather.
Because I'm living under this
Yeah.
oppressive 75 degree
Everyone's like,
house
it's
temperature.
so hot. It's so hot. And I was like, well, I live with a polar bear. And so that the ice caps aren't melting in my house, we have to keep it 40 degrees in here. So I'm always like, this summer, I'm freezing cold in Las Vegas summer because thank you. There's another rule recently that I got from a hairstylist because you were like, that's one rule. The new rule that I was introduced to by a hairstylist is, I was like, what if I had just the front pieces highlighted? And she was like, I was like, I want to be like Jerry Spice Girls. Like, that's the cool thing. Ginger Spice. She was like, so listen, if you've already lived through it once, you don't get to do it again. And I had never heard that rule, but it's actually pretty good with trends.
So she's saying stylistically, if you were old enough to live it in real time, you can't go back to it when it comes back in fashion.
Right. Like the Rachel, for instance.
Right.
I lived through the Rachel, so I'm not going to have that like the Rachel haircut,
Now,
but a 16-year-old might.
That's a catchy saying, and I don't hate it. But here's my question. Does that apply only to hair, or is that style as well? Like, because I was alive in the 90s, when 90s fashion came back, was I not supposed to put on a flannel and like...
Probably.
Yeah?
Well, flannel is a little gray, but I was going to say like big baggy jeans. Like,
Oh no, your beautiful artwork. You worked so hard on that.
I was actually going to submit it to the MoMA.
This
Please.
just fell off the wall. What are we going to do?
Our kids did that. Our kids, I know we're not allowed to talk about that, but they did that painting.
No, you did that.
Yes, I did it.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. I was like, did Moses? That's how
like,
good it is.
Moses
For a
can
second, I
be
was like,
better.
did our 4-year-old do that? Anyway, go on.
Justin Bieber or whatever, they're wearing like baggy pants. It's like they think they're Nirvana baggy stuff. And so because you've already lived through the baggy jeans, you can't walk around with baggy.
But so, if that's what's fashionable again, am I just not allowed to be fashionable? Again, not like I care. This is me getting dressed up. But
There was something that said like men just keep wearing whatever they wore at their peak.
I think you said Pete Holmes said that, right?
I don't
like
remember.
whenever whoever I think you said it was Pete, but like what was it? The idea that men, when they were at their coolest in their mind, is just what their fashion is forever.
Yeah, when was it? When were you the coolest? I'm assuming it's high school when you used to like trade sneakers with your buds.
No, I mean, this is like the least cool thing to say. I've felt cool my whole life. I've never been like a loser, but I don't know. Like,
I literally thought you were about to say, in the future, I'll be the coolest I ever was.
No. I mean, I now am fully resigned to being a dad with 2 kids in the suburbs who's 40 years old. I'm not trying to be cool anymore. I'm trying. My whole life mantra now is path of least resistance. Like,
I thought you were 39 and a half.
Oh, I am very much 40, and you know that. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm embracing it. I'm leaning in.
Okay. You have a yarmulke-shaped gray spot.
Unnecessary. By the way, I love that a few weeks ago you told me I look exactly 40, which was to say, like, I don't look bad for my age. I don't look good for my age. You would never think I was younger, but I also didn't let myself go. I just look 40.
You said it. I agreed. And only because I was like, yeah, you look, but a 40-year-old man is like supposed to be hot. Really, really, really hot. Like nothing is hotter.
I'm in my Clooney era, getting into the salt and pepper.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, how old is Paul Rudd? We don't even know.
No one knows.
His face is frozen.
No one knows. He's the first Jew that's ever achieved Asian status of just complete age ambiguity.
It's great. It's great. And he's tiny. I like that about him.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I like the idea that like, I envision him as a big guy, but then in person he's small.
Wait, you envision Paul Rudd as a big guy?
Not a big guy, but normal. You know, you watch people
he's an
on
actor.
screen.
Actors in general are tiny.
I know. I like that. I like that. That's like the funny part of it is like you're watching a movie, you're like, that's so cool. And it's like, he's miniature. And like the whole room
Why
is small.
is that? You went to acting school and all that. What is it like?
I think it's better for eye line, but I also think that shorter guys are trying harder.
Wait. So it's literally because female actresses are more level with them. So like filming a conversation instead of having the...
Probably. And also like people want to do a dirty shot, like a little bit of your shoulder. And then
That's
the person...
A dirty shot means they're shooting over your shoulder.
Like I have a camera right here, so it's like over my shoulder. But what if I was like 6'5"? Then it's like, okay, let's bring the camera up. We'll go over the shoulder, and then
that makes sense. I was always thinking small actors so they could save on craft services.
They're definitely losing money when you show up to Crafty.
I get down in craft services,
and I can't. I do too because I cannot restrain myself in front of free buffet.
You have a problem. We went to Costco.
Samples.
You ate in the span of 5 minutes. You had like a tuna with like a new spicy mayonnaise on a multigrain cracker, and then took a liquid fish oil supplement.
Fish oil with collagen.
And then I think you like instantly had diarrhea. Like you ate the tuna, then you had the fish collagen, and before I was done checking out, you were like, "I need the bathroom."
I think we're just not supposed to do any more scatological
I know. I'm
references.
sorry, but this isn't about that.
I made myself sick because I couldn't say no to free food, which is when I'm in front of Crafty, it feels like a call to action. Like Esther,
which is crazy too, because you have more food discipline than anyone I know. Like
I have food discipline, but I have money trauma. My money trauma with the food discipline gets like
because I was going to say, like for me, free food or whether I have to pay for it doesn't do it. It's just like if there's something available that I like eating, I do not have the discipline to stop eating it or stop craving it. Whereas you can actively stare at a food that you want, that you know is going to be delicious, and just choose not to eat it, and yet you can't pass up
unless I start
free sample that you know is probably going to be disgusting.
I cannot pass up a disgusting free sample, but with let's say it's like barbecue chips that are very yummy. If I'm just looking at, I'm like, I'd create like, ew, that's not healthy. Like I don't want any. If you give me one chip, we're gone. Like I'm finishing the bag. So I do this weird eating thing where I'm like,
this weird eating thing where you just don't eat what you know you're going to want a lot of. And
but if I want one, now I'm chowing down on the bag of chips, which is fine. I'm not going to die, but it's like, get it. There's this dumb meme of a woman going like, I'm okay. And then it's like, just one. And then like the next one is like, and that's me.
A really good act out of a meme. Like even like you nail. I could see. I've never seen the meme, but I could see all 3 shots. The face, very expressive.
Thank you.
Very expressive. Good job. I could not do that.
When words do not describe.
Wait, let me try. Give me the direction of what are the 3 faces I'm making. What is it? I don't want any, just one. Give me everything.
Now you're a
Okay,
monster.
ready?
Okay, ready? That was really good. That was really good.
Yeah?
If only you were shorter, you'd get an Oscar.
Dirty shot. Let's do it.
Dirty
Look,
shot.
I'm becoming an actor in real time.
One thing I've noticed is that people shit on dads, and the most cliche shitting on dads is they go like just having to explain to someone where something is. Like dads suck because they don't know where the frozen mango is.
Sure.
You are not like that, so I really appreciate that. So Father's Day is coming up. I hope that you're excited to be celebrated. Do you feel a little gypped on Father's Day, or are you good?
Shouldn't say the word gypped because that is short for gypsy and that is derogatory.
Yikes! We can
Did you
cut
not know that? Yeah,
no,
we
I had
will.
no idea.
You did not know that?
Let's try again.
Okay.
Do you feel
Father-
gypsied by Father's Day?
Well played. Inappropriate, but well played.
Are you sick of being Jewed out of Father's Day?
Go on. What's...
Are you happy with Father's Day? I know I want like this big
I'm
powwow
happy
celebration.
with Father's Day because I don't care. Not that I don't care about being a father. I don't care that it's like a holiday where fathers are celebrated. I've lowered my expectations. So like I don't go into Father's Day expecting to have some magical day where you and the kids throw rose petals at my feet and I get to sleep in and have a peaceful day. Like it sounds corny, but the truth is I love my kids. I love my wife. Having my family with me on Father's Day is more of just like a daily reminder of the fact that I like the life we've built together. Would it be nice if on Father's Day you let me sleep in and there's like a nice thing done for me? Maybe you make a meal and I get to relax and watch the WNBA without being bothered. Sure, but it's like you do make Mother's Day a day, and I appreciate that. You deserve it. You're a great mother, but it is important
Everyone
for you
does.
to make Mother's Day an event. Father's Day does not have to be an event for me, nor do I don't expect it to be. I don't want it to be, so I'm not disappointed by the fact that Father's Day seems like the lesser holiday because it's a lesser holiday in my mind. I don't care about it.
Well, I think there should be tiers to Father's Day. It's kind of like you buy tickets to go see something. Are you going to go VIP or are you going to be like nosebleed? I do think that you're like VIP Father's Day, you get to be celebrated. And then there's dads who should get like a bag of poop for their, no, not poop. there's some nosebleed section tickets.
But you say that, but you don't give me a VIP Father's Day.
What are
and
you talking about?
And I'm not saying that with contempt. I'm
giving you I try to meet what you want. So some people are like, if when it's your birthday, it's all about me. I want a big party and a big cake.
Which
you
again,
did. You were not feeling that.
I was born on Christmas. My birthday has never been allowed to be about me. Nor do I want it to. I'm not.
Because you've been overshadowed by a man in Birkenstocks?
Holidays in general are overrated to me. I also grew up in a house where like my family was one who hosted all the holidays and we'd have 30 guests for Jewish holidays. So like I've always grown up wishing people would make less of a big deal about holidays, whatever the holidays, whether it's a religious holiday, a national holiday, a personal holiday. I think people need to get over holidays. It's nice to be with your family on a holiday. Don't make it more than that. Like this like need for crazy planning and
I don't like
orchestrating
traveling on a
schedules,
holiday, but-
traveling, buying all this unnecessary stuff. It's like, it's just a day. Let's just have a nice day as a family, acknowledge what the day is and move on.
It's so funny. You say that and then we have hosted holidays. We do travel for holidays. We are going
because I'm not immune to the desires of the rest of our family.
But Father's Day, there are men who's like, I want to go on a golfing trip. There's moms who are like, I want to go to the hotel. That's one version.
I think when our kids, who shall not be mentioned, are older and it's less of a task for either one of us to be stuck. Like right now, if either one of us are just stuck with both kids, it feels like we're really fucking the other one. So it's like, even if it was for my Father's Day, it would be really unfair to just be like, all right, you got them both. I'm going to go whatever. But like when the kids are older and they can be a little bit more responsible for themselves, maybe Father's Day will be a day where I go play craps by myself for a few hours or like selfishly do something where I don't feel like you're just chasing around toddlers all day, because it also does me no good to come home for my little Father's Day outing and just have a completely spent, frustrated, exhausted wife. Like at the end of the day, I still need to deal with the ramifications of what my Father's Day was.
I think there should be a two-parter. One is it's Father's Day. We make you disgusting breakfast in bed or whatever it is, and we pamper you. But then there's like the gift card, which is one day, like a 5-hour Sunday coupon where you're like,
Sure.
I get 5 hours on a Sunday.
The famous coupons that always get cashed in and used. Yes.
Look,
Is there a worse gift than a coupon for X amount of things in the future that you know we're not going to get used?
yeah, there are worse gifts.
Name one.
Photo albums, you know, just I printed things from my phone to give to you, and like there's
That is worse because then it also creates clutter. Then it's just like a picture that goes in a shoebox that you can't throw away, but you never look at. Sure.
so we've there's also an MVP rock. Everything I do becomes a joke.
I will say this. You give me exclusively inexpensive gifts that become very practical and useful. Like, you always want expensive gifts. I always have to spend a lot of money on the gifts that you want. I'll get you an $800 gift. You'll get me a $14 gift. But we do, in all fairness, get equal amounts of use and enjoyment out of our respective gifts. So, like, I don't hate the fact that last year I got a water bottle and it's now the water bottle I drink out of every single day. I don't hate the fact that you got me a gym bag and it's an upgrade to the old gym bag that I had. But you're also getting off easy.
I get you like back to school gifts. It would be like for Moses' birthday, I got him a backpack, new socks, and a binder. So for you, I'm getting for Father's Day, it's like the gym bag, the water bottle. Like these are back to school gifts.
Yeah, but a boy's binder, so there's no pink tax on it. Call
sure,
back.
Yeah. I mean, if I wanted a pink gym bag, I honestly think it's $400. But if it's blue, it's $60. Why everything is so expensive, and I wish that my brain wasn't. Am I the only one who's just like adding things up in my head?
Yes, you're the only one affected by the cost of things. Famously, Esther is the only one who has to pay for things in the world.
Yes, and mostly it's just trying to figure out my nails situation because I will spend.
Your nails look great right now. Show the camera.
I spend $60 on fake nails that last 2 weeks, and I'm like, that's $30 a week. That's
one thing that you do from upkeep that I notice and appreciate, but not because of the look, but because of the back scratches. I do like when you get the fake nails because the back scratches really improve at least tenfold.
And I think women with nails, the world is seeing them like this, like nails, cool. I can like talk like this, but ooh. When you start, if there was like a camera showing me the other day, I was trying to open up the SD card to get the memory card, and it's a very little like thumb thing that you have to like flick open, and I was doing it with my fake nail, and it was such a humbling and embarrassing experience. I was like jamming fake acrylic nails and like clawing at it. I looked like a raccoon trying to get into a car, or like a bear trying to get into a trash can, and I was just like and I like finally busted it open and like cracked 2 nails, and I was like, and
it hurts when you crack a nail, right?
It can, yeah.
Even though it's fake, because it like tugs on your real nail under.
Yes, but a woman's life is just nonstop pain. So,
a woman's life is nonstop pain. It's so hard to be a woman all the time, and I don't doubt that. But come on.
It's hard to be alive all the time.
Life is pain. I was just about to say, life is pain. And we have a great life, and life is pain. Imagine people with shitty lives. Well, all right, let me ask you a question. I talked about something I experienced that was new that I surprisingly didn't hate, the indoor sunglasses. What is something that has happened to you recently that you either surprisingly hated or surprisingly did not hate? A new experience, a new anything.
Well, I like planning trips almost more.
I hear you say that and instantly just imagine $5,000 draining from my bank account, but go on.
Oh, 5,000. I like to plan, and I'm enjoying planning even more than I think the vacation. And I've once read like planning and daydreaming, and maybe it's like a lady thing, but they call it W trips. No, I'm just.
WMBA, nice.
But I was like, okay, let me booking flight and booking hotel is not very riveting. But I'm about to go on a solo New York trip, and I was like, where do I want to go? Like, how do I want to plan it out? And I've just been, and this is so embarrassing, but I'm making a playlist of songs that
you want to walk through the streets of New York City listening to.
Dun 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 dun, like Sex and the City, yes. And I'm so firmly a Carrie for everyone else out. Like, shout outs to the Charlottes and Samanthas, but like, I am gonna live my Carrie life.
Except fuck Miranda, huh? Just not even mentioned.
Never.
Is that Lisa Trigger's joke?
Yeah, Lisa Trigger.
So the thing that you surprisingly don't hate is making a playlist for a trip that you get to go on by yourself?
Just getting indulgent about, first of all, I've never done anything alone. I don't like being alone. I'm true codependent.
Yep.
And I guess the alone trip is kind of fun. Just preparing myself for this exciting. And I'm also, my expectations are low that I'm just like, I guess you're planning, you're so excited, and then you're like, but also nothing. I could just be eating pizza in Union Square, and that's fine too.
Sounds awesome.
I have cried in Union Square multiple times, and I don't know why the tears come in Union Square.
New York will beat you down.
New York versus me.
But at least you'll have
wins.
your ideal soundtrack as it happens.
And then I can wear a Yankees hat and be like, that has got to be so annoying for the Yankees to see everyone just posing as a fan.
I think they're okay. They're making a lot of money selling the merchandise.
Okay.
Which allows for higher salaries.
There you go. And they train in Tampa. Okay. Really quick. Have you had any reoccurring dreams?
No. I very rarely remember my dreams at all. I wish I remembered them more. Definitely don't have recurring dreams.
I heard that if you stop smoking weed, you can get dreams back.
I stopped smoking weed for the most part years ago. I haven't had a dream since. So maybe I need to start smoking again to have my dreams. But no, I really wish I remembered my dreams, but very rarely do I wake up knowing anything about what I dreamt last night.
Yeah. Can I give you a really bad mom joke?
Sure.
All right. And I don't know if it's funny, but hanging out with you feels like I'm on portrait mode because you're always like, move further away. That's not a good.
No, I didn't. First of all, I did not think you were about to tell me your own mom joke. I thought you were getting me like a street joke.
No.
Second of all, I was pretty clear about the fact that I didn't want to like do test jokes on this podcast.
I agree. I completely agree. Okay.
Sorry to be the heavy, but those are my rules: is no kid talk, no joke talk, and no overly indulgent poop talk. And if you agree to those three rules, I will potentially think about doing this podcast with. I will potentially think about this unnamed podcast at a future date. Maybe we'll do it again.
And I appreciate that. And I'm a people pleaser. I'm codependent. Like I'm every part of me is like, give me more rules and boundaries and restrictions, and I will try to I will try to knock down those walls and really get. That's like a sport for me. How can I?
Well, that seems like the opposite of what you're actually going to do. It's not that you're not trying to knock down those walls. You'll respect the rules.
Yeah.
Or you're saying you're going to try to find a way to skirt around them and end up talking about kids, poop, and jokes.
Well, when there's a boundary, obviously everyone needs to respect. Like for growing up, there was a rule that your skirt has to be longer than your fingertips. So, you try to get away with just like a little skirt, but you're not wearing like
to be clear, if you want to potentially podcast with me on this unnamed podcast again at a future date, no kids, no overindulgent poop, no jokes. We can make jokes, but no like workshopping your stand-up.
Okay, got it. And then
if you'd like to give me a set of things I can't do on this podcast, I'll try to abide by them.
No rules.
No rules. So I have 3 rules, and then your rule is no rules.
Yeah. Well, okay. No shoes, no shirt, no problem.
How Florida of you. All right. Well, that's been Noah and Esther on the potential future unnamed podcast. We'll see if we
forever.
do it again.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sitting down and talking to me, even though I know it hurts to not be on your phone.
Wow. Leaving on pot shots. You're very welcome.
All right. Well, how do we sign off?
I just did before you took that shot at me. I already signed off.
Well, maybe we could be like, sayonara, suckers.
I don't think you nailed it. I think you had
What
something
about
in
if
your
it was
I
just
think you
Woody
had a
the
vision in your
Woodpecker?
head, and that was just not it. You're getting further away, further from it. I'm just gonna walk off now.
Maybe some like
Yeah.
a PSA of
Bye.
like
Bye.
microplastics are getting into our food, and it's important
Oh, I
to
have to hear this all the time. Stop. Just get off the podcast.
make sure to exfoliate, pumice your feet,